Hey guys, in this video we're going to be checking out the BeeBee 66 from FullSpeedRC. Actually, this was sent to me by Gearbest, and this actually only comes from Gearbest as a plug and play. You have to actually add your own receiver. But let me just go over all the stuff that's on here first. Obviously, this is a 1S brushless micro. We got some FullSpeed branded 0703 15,000 kV motors. They only run on 1S. You have a flight controller stack here. It's an F3 flight controller with a Betaflight OSD. It's running the Omnibus F3 firmware. It's a 16 by 16 board, and then you have a 6 amp 4-in-1 ESC running BLLES, so you can run D-Shot 600. The camera here is an all-in-one camera, micro CMOS, and has a 25 milliwatt video transmitter in the back. And you have a single button there for your bands and channels. As I mentioned before, there's no receiver, and I actually added this little micro FreeSky receiver here. It's a really tiny one. I reviewed that a while back, and I'll put a card up here in the corner. You can check out that receiver if you want to. It's literally like about half a centimeter, and it's like about half a gram. It's probably a good receiver for this one. You could add other micro receivers, and not a whole lot of places you can put it. Maybe somewhere in the canopy behind here, or under the camera between the prop guards and the flight controller. So there's not a whole lot of places you can put that in. The USB port here is accessible via a little USB right angle adapter, and this is what it looks like. And you would just stick that in here, and then you'll have access to the USB port that way. Otherwise, getting a USB cable in there is pretty much impossible without the adapter, but they include this. You get a 1S battery. This is a GMB 260 milliamp hour high volt battery. You only get one. You can get more of these from Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description for this because you only get about a 2.5 minute flight with this, and you'll definitely want to pick up some more of these batteries. These have the JST PH connector with a 2.0mm connector. This is on or also known as the power whip connector for the tiny whips, and obviously you get the same corresponding connector here on the flight controller or the ESCs as well. Now the bottom plate here is about 1 millimeter thick, and these prop guards here, this carbon plate here is about 0.6 millimeters thick, so it doesn't weigh a whole lot. Let me give you a weight measurement. So the whole thing without the battery comes in at 28.8 grams, and then with the battery, it comes in at about almost 35.9 grams. So definitely more than your typical tiny whip with the batteries. Those are going to be coming in around under 25 grams. But you are running 1S brushless motors here. But at the same time, these do draw quite a bit of amps. And you get more power, but you also draw more battery, or you stick down your battery quicker. So the flight times are a little bit shorter than what you would get on a typical tiny whip. Also, the other thing that's different about this versus the tiny whip is that this comes with bigger 40 millimeter propellers instead of the tiny whip propellers are like 31 millimeters. So that's also another big difference. And I think this one would probably be better to fly outdoors. I tried flying it inside my house, and my house is kind of small, and this is too fast for my smaller space. So I did try to fly indoors, and I gave up because I just kept crashing into the wall. And these carbon pieces here in the corner do leave indentations into your wall and leave marks. So just keep that in mind if you fly indoors. These carbon hoops, they're prop guards. They do not bend at all, so they will dent your walls. So I decided to stop flying indoors. I just flew it outside. So you'll see a flight demo of it flying outside, and it's pretty fast. I think it's definitely way faster than your typical tiny whip anyway. Another thing that you should be aware of is that it came pre-tuned from the factory. So as you know, a lot of the products from FullSpeedRC, pretty much all of them are test flown, and they actually put in PIDs and rates and everything that they feel like would be good to fly. So I flew this completely stock out of the box because it just came with whatever PIDs it came with from the factory. I thought the rates were a little bit on the high side for me, but I just flew it anyway. I basically just adjusted my flying style to the rates that were already in here, and it flies totally fine. Now the only thing about these smaller 1S brushless micros, and I think I mentioned this before in previous videos, is that when you make hard turns and you yaw, and when you do yaws to the motors on the diagonal slow down, while the ones on the other diagonal maintain its, I guess, RPMs or whatever speed it's going. And what typically happens is, unless you give it a lot more throttle to spin up all of the props more when you're doing the yaw, you lose altitude. So you'll see that in the flight demo. That's just kind of how it goes with these 1S brushless micros. If you probably want to do more roll than yaw, so that you don't have that effect as much. But when you do a hard yaw to quickly change directions, like doing like 180, you'll notice that it will drop altitude pretty quickly. But that's very typical of these 1S brushless micros. It's pretty much a known flight characteristic of these guys. So there's not a whole lot more to say about this. I'll go ahead and I'll roll the flight footage. I will actually have the newer version of this, the BeeBee 66 Lite, on my channel coming up pretty soon. I just got that, and obviously without the prop guards and a different camera mounting system, it's going to weigh less and probably will fly a little bit faster as well. So stay tuned for that video. But if you want a sort of an indoor flyer for a larger indoor space, or and you want something that has prop guards, and definitely check out the BeeBee 66.